Well, good afternoon and welcome to this edition of Drive Facebook Live. I'm Bob Spitz along with my partner Tony Whistler. And today we have a couple of very special guests. We have Chris Probst from Bill Crestmore Automotive in Denver, and we have Danielle Gray from Oriole Automotive in the teeming metropolis of Quincy, Michigan. Welcome.
Thank you.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
We were just joking about that. She lives in a village. I grew up in a village. You know, villages are usually under 5,000 population, and it's definitely a different environment from a big city. And one of the things we want to talk about today is not villages, but we want to talk about the uniqueness of these two people. They are women. They own automotive shops in a very male-dominated industry. Now that is changing, but I think it's still about 10% female ownership in our industry out of approximately 200,000 shops. So that leaves a lot of room for growth. But it is, I believe, a challenge for women, but I think there's also opportunities for women in this industry, and I want these two very astute people to talk about exactly that. So, Chris, you know, you're at kind of like a different end of the spectrum from Danielle. Danielle is just coming into ownership, and you are almost in stage 4 ownership, transitioning away. So let's start with you, Chris. And what are the advantages? What are some of the challenges that a woman has in owning an automotive shop?
Well, 21 years ago, I started this business. I married into this business. My ex-husband and I, we started this business together. And 21 years ago, all of my customers were used to dealing with him. And it took me several years to retrain my customers to where they had to deal with me. I've faced challenges with customers saying I was nothing but a pretty face at the front desk. Customers telling me, "Oh, you can't fix a car. You're female." Technicians that have had issues with the fact that this was a female-owned shop and they believe that females shouldn't be in this industry. There's been a lot of challenges, but there's also been a lot of good things too. I've got as a female-owned shop, I feel that draws more female customers. I have checked on my Google stats and stuff, and Google and Yelp, over 60% of the people that look us up online are female people.
Well, that lines up with national statistics of approximately 70% of the consumers of a general repair shop are women.
Yeah. And I feel like even with a lot of the men having, I currently have 2 female service advisors, but even as a service advisor, even with men, I feel like the explanation they got from me and selling them work, they felt that it was a little, I've had them tell me, it's a little easier hearing it come from you. And that could be because they think I know nothing about cars, but I feel they've explained that they feel that I explain it a little bit better in less technical terms than the men do. And so there's advantages and disadvantages, and working to overcome the disadvantages is hard, but the rewards for the non-challenge things are pretty big. It's pretty great.
Absolutely. And you're also mechanically trained, correct?
I am mechanically trained, 21 years in the business. I probably have about 3 solid years teching, but learning, before I started turning wrenches, I was service advising. So seeing what the cars come in for and what they go out for, the fix wise, I learned a lot just through that process as well. And the more technical, if I'm in the back and I have to fix a car and it's something I've never done before, then you bet I'm pulling the instructions and going through step by step. But once I do it once, I can pretty much get on it again if I need to.
Oh, by the way, Deanna Cole says hi to both of you.
Hi, Deanna.
There you go. Another female shop owner.
Another female shop owner. That's right. And Danielle, what about you? How did you get involved in this business?
Well, it's family owned, so it's my mom and my dad, and my dad is getting tired. So when I moved back, I came from I lived all over. I left here in my little village and actually went to Hawaii for 7 years. So I actually probably passed by John Starkey's shop, I don't know, quite a few times because
Probably.
I know where he's located. Then I lived in New Jersey, and then I lived in North Carolina in Hatteras Island. And then when we moved back, it was just approached by my dad. He was, like I said, ready to kind of get out, and he was getting offers from other businesses that wanted to basically buy him out. And he had asked my older brother if he wanted to join. And at the time, he was living in Wisconsin, and he said that he didn't want anything to do with it. So when he asked me, I was, sentimental over it and was like, well, yeah, I can't like let anybody else take that from you. I mean, he spent his, at least the last 20 years building this up and becoming well known in the community. And, so I just made it my, meaning to just basically help him in any way that I can. And I absolutely said yes. And I mean, I've loved it ever since. I actually have a degree in environmental studies. And that's what my joke is I know more about cars than I know about the environment like I used to. And that's where I followed in my mom's steps, because she has a double degree. But then she left doing work at the soil conservation to actually help my dad with the business as well. So it's all three of us that are here now.
Well, your dad's lucky because not every shop owner has family that is interested in taking over the business. And that always creates a bit of a challenge when it comes to succession and exiting. And what do I do?
Yeah.
And how am I going to do this? So yeah, your dad's lucky. And you do have, obviously, you have an interest in helping your father, but you have an interest in the business itself, the automotive industry.
Yeah, I do. And that came pretty naturally. I feel like I have my mom basically says that I'm acting more and more like him the more I'm around him. So I mean, I read all the automotive magazines. I'm out there with the flashlight looking at things, and I love playing the game where the customer tells you what the problem is, and then I go out to the shop and say, okay, who wants to take bets on what it actually is? And so I really do actually enjoy it, and talking with customers and the emotional side of it, and the, that satisfaction internally of, having everything go well. I mean, it doesn't always go well, but, we're trying to make everything go well for the community, because where we're at, I see everybody out and about on a daily basis. So it's, like I said, the family, but then now it's me. So
It's great.
Oh, by the way, another female shop owner, Debbie Jenner John, says hello. She's watching.
Debbie, she's the owner as well. I have a question for you. So you guys have done the succession and exit planning workshop with us. I think I saw that in your history.
yeah.
So have you created a very specific plan for them to exit and you to fully take over? Is that where we're at right now, or how you are essentially running the shop fully now, or are they out, or what's the
No,
situation?
no, it's still the three of us that discuss everything. It's transitioning though, or it has been, at least last year was kind of where it kind of started. And then now we're in the process of basically trying to get all the policies and the procedures in place for the bookkeeping role, which is my mom's role. And then now I have two new techs that just started. So then now my dad's back in the office so that he can actually focus on the business as well, since he's been in technician mode. So I think now that we're in a good place now where we can really start working on the plan. I think my mom's goal was 2 years, so that'd be like 2025 is where she really wants to completely be gone. And I know my dad will never be gone. He'll want to come when he wants, and that's what I wanted ultimately. Is I didn't want him to never, obviously, if somebody else bought the business, then they can run it however they want and basically push him out. And I never wanted that. So I always want him to feel welcome to come here and work on whatever he wants to work on.
Yeah,
That's
oh,
great.
absolutely. You should have a bay for him eventually.
Yeah.
And it can be his bay for him to tinker with whatever he wants to tinker on.
Mhm.
Exactly. That's
Yeah. Because
Yep.
looking at your website, I was joking with Danielle. I said, there's cars in your parking lot that I could work on.
Yep.
And that-
And
Yeah.
we just have we just got a Fairlane out, and then we're getting a Fiat out.
Wow.
And then we're getting ready for another 71 Datsun coming in next week. So we've kind of been known around the area to fix a lot of the classic cars.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
Well, that is very cool. Now, one of the things that intrigues me is what the cultural change that I think has to occur when women enter a shop in our industry. You know, because when I started in this business, the only women in the industry were either secretaries, cashiers, occasionally a parts person, but no such thing as a female technician. I mean, I don't even know how she would have survived back there. You know, it was just culturally, it was just not
Brutal.
suited. Yeah, it was kind of brutal, right? So, Chris, have you done anything? I mean, you've been out there 21 years now, so the culture is yours. Was there anything you had to do culturally to bring the age of enlightenment along?
Good way to put it, Bob.
Education, I think, for customers was probably the most. You know, when we have female customers come in, I'm showing them how to change their own air filter, how to top off their fluids, how to check their fluids. I've shown a few how to change tires. You know, I, I've I've had one female technician in the past. She worked out really well. I loved having her here. She was super great. She ended up moving to a different state, so she had to leave. But trying to get female technicians in the door is difficult. I don't get a lot of people that apply. But you know, I had to change, you know, in my ads, it says females, please apply. Service advisors, same thing. The majority of the applications we get have been male, and you know, females are encouraged to apply. One of the things that I'm looking to start in 2024 is a car care clinic for females and young drivers that are coming up to that point, to teach them the basics about air filters, cabin air filters, fluids, how to change a tire, you know, that type of stuff. So trying to get the word out there that, hey, doesn't matter if you're female, male, or anything, we're here to help. And you know, come see me. So
Yeah.
that's what we're working on doing right now.
Cool.
Well, I can add to what you were just saying, Chris, as far as technician wise with the females. We've worked in the past with like the local trade school for high school kids. And I had actually heard from some students that there was female students that wanted to be into the automotive program, and that they said it was closed, but then two other male students actually got into the program when they were told it was closed. So I think I mean, I know where I live, my location's completely different. You know, we're very set 10 years behind the times now. But I could probably say that, you know, speaking from what you're saying, is it's very hard for the women to get into it, but it also has to be encouraged, you know, from this younger generation to say, you know, diversity is such a big thing right now that, you know, why would we encourage them and give them, I'm not saying they have to have so many women in it or girls in it when they're in high school, but, you know, obviously what's good for one can't be, you know, for the other. So it should be included for all. So it kind of broke my heart to hear that, you know, this particular female was not able to get into the program, but then the other boys were. So
And that was a trade school?
yeah, it's like the we call it like OJT, like on the job training. It's just like where the kids go to they go to there for schooling, and it's the automotive program.
But are they
Like
high school age,
technical
or are they
school.
Yeah,
they're high school age?
yeah.
They
Interesting.
can still do that in other states. California, they don't let you do that.
Yeah, so it's like I don't know how other places do it.
Yeah, sadly, in California, a young person, if they're interested in like our industry, they can't operate any equipment until they're 18 years old.
Wow, how are you going to
So,
learn?
yeah, no brake lays, no lifts, you know, no welding.
Mhm.
You know, it makes it a real challenge. Now, one of the things that you were touching on is the challenge of a young woman being interested in this and needing that encouragement. And I think what you're doing, Chris, goes a long way to that by holding a car clinic or whatever. But I also think if you go to a job fair as a woman and you just show how different this industry is than any set idea or stereotype about it, because honest to goodness, it's much more of an analytical approach to auto repair. Modern day technicians are like
Yeah.
software engineers,
Right.
as opposed to just brute strength. Nobody's pulling a head off of a Hemi, except for maybe in Danielle's shop.
Where she's
Those
working on
old 80,
Probably.
80-pound heads.
Well, and I think that has a lot to do with it. I think, I think it can be discouraging for a female because, early on when I started in this, there was a lot of lifting, and because it was older cars, a lot of lifting. You got to be strong. You got to be able to do this stuff. But, in this industry, there's tools to help you with that. There's engine jacks and transmission jacks and hoists and everything you can use for that. But I think encouraging the women to get out there and encouraging them to realize, it's not all about the brute strength anymore. Things are a lot more technical than they are mechanical nowadays. I mean, yeah,
Right.
their mechanics are still there, but the technical portion of it, being able to read an electrical diagram to trace wiring, being able to look at the computer or pull the scanner out and pull up a code and diagnosing that code, that goes a long way. So I think there's a lot of technical training involved, more so now. And I'm a firm believer anybody can do it. I mean, man, woman, I'm all for equality, of course, but women need to get into this industry. We need to come together and make some changes, because it's not only, as a woman, before I got into this industry, I was convinced that if I went to a shop, they were going to see me coming.
Yeah.
Dollar signs, dollar signs, dollar signs. But it's all in, if you educate your customers. We're here. My shop is here to educate our customers on how to keep their family safe, their friends safe, other drivers safe on the road, and to educate them on how to maintain and keep their car for a long period of time. It's not about money for me. It's not. I mean, yeah, the money is nice. We got to make money to stay viable and stay in business. But more so, I want to keep my family, my extended family, my customer family safe.
Sure. Having a
And
stronger purpose.
Yeah,
yes,
very good.
and we're doing that by educating people. If I have a customer come in, man or woman, and their car needs tons of repairs and the repairs outweigh the value of the vehicle, we'll tell them. I would much rather them go get a fancy car with bells and whistles that they deserve than put money into an older car that's not worth fixing. So,
But of
that goes
course,
a long way.
that's always you've got to give them the option, because
Right.
as you
Absolutely.
know, you'd be surprised what people would spend money on. Because
Absolutely.
sometimes these cars have got sentimental value.
I had
Yeah.
one of those.
Even if it's not a vintage car, it could just be a car that you think might just be an old crummy car, but something about that car had something that meant something to them. Something in their lives happened
Yeah.
with that car, and there's
Yeah, I
a
mean,
connection there. And
I
if they want to fix it, then you fix it. And I know that that's what you do. Like, obviously, if somebody wanted it fixed, you'd fix it for them.
but we do make sure that they're educated on what it needs,
Yep,
Right.
so that they
exactly.
can make that informed decision. I mean, I had a 1999 Ford Expedition, 400,000 miles, and the oil filter, it got ripped off the front of the engine in an accident. That would have been the second engine I would have put in that thing, so it wasn't worth it. But that car had sentimental value to me. I mean, I took my kids to every volleyball game, tennis game, swim match, doctor's appointment. I took my kids everywhere in that car, and it meant a lot to me. And I shed a tear when I took the license plates off and put her on the bed. But yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
Danielle, you mentioned you have a degree in environment, and that's something that I think is attractive to a lot of younger people. In fact, in areas of the country like Santa Cruz, California, uh, achieving the status and the certification of being a green shop and practicing green practices as much as you can in a very dirty industry is attractive to the younger generation. We my generation, we didn't think anything of it. I mean,
Mhm.
wash parts in gasoline and dump the gasoline in the backyard, and
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that
that's
was
just the
something
way
that
it
I
was.
implemented. We do have a recycling program here, that we work with the local company that picks it up once a month. So that's something that I have obviously promoted, but it has cut down on our trash pickup tremendously. Cardboard, plastics, and paper. Paper is huge. I should probably have two of those. We're DVI, but we still, I mean, it's magazines, bills, and things like that. Everything just seems to like pile up, but that does help. We get our antifreeze picked up, the oil picked up. That's another company that will burn it. And then I have a scrap guy that comes and he actually takes the scrap metal for us. So that is something that I have implemented that my parents never did, and did see that as a good marketing way of doing things as well for the younger generation. But I mean,
Sure, and also for recruiting.
for the good, yeah. It's, like I said, it made me feel internally good, be like it was so wasteful just throwing every single thing away. So
Yeah, certainly potential employees would probably be attracted to that environment as well. Just
Yeah.
yeah.
like
Oh, by the
Bob's
way,
just said.
Kevin Reichert from Stellars says congratulations to both of you.
There you
Thanks,
go.
Kev.
Thanks, Kev.
And Kevin wants to know if you're eating pineapple pizzas.
No, I'm waiting for him to get here to take him out.
There you go.
Yeah. So, what's your long-term view, Danielle?
For what? For the business?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I don't foresee a second Oriole Automotive. I mean, because it's so grounded in our local community and there's only one. It's just to continue on my dad's legacy. Obviously, I know one day that they'll both be gone out of here, or my dad will be doing what he wants to do, but just keep that going. So that is a train going by
Hi.
right now, very active.
We hear it.
Twice a week.
Yeah. Is that freight or passenger?
It's a freight. This one's freight, but they've been doing the Polar Express one too, so that one's passenger. But
Wow, that's
yeah,
cool.
that's how old school we are. Is there's
So do you have a connection with that trade school, or do you have
I do, yeah, we do.
Cool. So then your influence would have to at least hopefully create some change there.
Yeah, that would be the goal.
Yeah. Well, very good.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And I remember we spoke. You basically started in the business when you were a teenager, Danielle. What training from Drive has helped give you confidence to do what you're doing?
Well, I'll say that whole me doing it in high school was not really doing it, but just being here to be here.
Uh-huh.
And my mom will say she fired me, and then I'll say that I actually walked out. So whoever wants to believe whatever it was, but I came where we were at. I was just 18 and wanted to live my own life, and that's why I left, and I wanted to go very, very far away until I realized that now that I have a family, this is a place where I want to, raise my kids.
Sure.
So it's I didn't know anything about the business. And like I said, my parents were self-taught. My dad just wanted to fix cars, and my mom, her job was to line them up and get them out the door, basically. So when we got the phone call from Drive, I pushed for it because I knew that after he asked me, I had no idea what to do. So, and I tote Drive to the highest, to everybody, and to say to, and I have my trophy up here. There's all my
Let's see
trophies.
it.
Oh, right there. It's right there.
Yeah.
I show that off with pride to say,
Yeah.
that the consulting company I'm with is that. And then all these are my local ones. Boom. That's like popularity contest, but I won all those. And my parents would have never done anything like that. And, they are so stuck in the 80s. That's my mom's biggest thing. I wish it was 1980. And I'm like, it's not. It's the 21st century. Get with it, woman. So I mean, you know, she wants the old phone back. She wants the papers back. She wants, you know, like I said, that comfort of it all. And I think I told Kevin earlier, I said, I embrace that millennial term. And it was somebody in the company, what's his name? There was somebody there that called me a millennial. And then I had to really look into that and figure out if that was me. And I realized that it is, because I'm a hard worker, but I embrace technology and using that to the advantage. You know, and I think that really is what propelled the shop, and the feedback from the community alone, you know, it's just reassuring to know that, you know, what my dad started was an amazing thing, and that, you know, I have to continue that on, you know, even when he's gone. I mean, so his thing that he says is, whose name is on the building? Because my dad's name is on the front window on the bird's hat. And it says Dan. So then I said, well, then that's my name too, because I got my name
That's
from
right.
him. So
There it is.
I'm like, so once he goes, I said, I don't have to change that out.
There it is.
And Chris, you know, you've taken on a new hat of an instructor for Drive, and we're so thankful that you've joined the team and you're helping shop owners with your knowledge and wisdom. And what training was there any specific training you got with Drive that you felt helped you with the challenges of running your shop?
Well, there's all kinds. I mean, everything I've gotten from Drive has been phenomenally needed and very well used. You know, one of the biggest things that probably for me is being able to work on the business rather than in the business, because I was so focused on keeping everything running, just the day-to-day inner works of getting estimates done, getting cars out, and doing all that just so that we could make money. But learning to work on the business rather than in it has been essential. And then you know, learning how to marketing. I didn't know a ton about marketing. I have an accounting background. I have an accounting degree that I finished school in 2010. But so I knew the accounting side of everything, but I didn't know how to run a business. Not at all. And Drive has helped me learn how to manage my time, to handle the finances and the statistics, the KPIs. I love the KPIs. I love being able to track technician efficiency and my average RO and, you know, my car count. I love all of that, and watching my revenues go up and down and up and down and up and down, but then go up and up and down and up, and they just keep going up. You know, when I started this 21 years ago, we were at $250,000 revenue shop. I'm going to hit 1.3 this year. So, you know,
Amazing.
Drive, I contribute a lot of that to Drive. Tony is my man. My number one first consultant was Tony. And
Thank you.
and I contribute a lot of my success. I really do contribute to you, Tony, and I thank you very much. Just like I said in, you know, a couple of years ago at the expo. But if it wasn't for Tony and the Drive consultants, and you know, I'm female, I'm emotional, I fly off the handle, I get mad, I cry, I throw things. It's a thing. Tony has heard me cry and
Yes, I have.
want to throw things. So, you know, you guys and all the consultants and everybody at Drive, you guys work so hard to help us. And I don't know that all shop owners really realize you guys are trying to help, because to be honest, you know, as now that I've become an instructor and I'm privy to some of the back office type stuff with Drive, the amount of care that the Drive team has, and I'm not just saying that to plug Drive, but the amount of care that every single person at Drive has is incredible, and the passion they have to help shop owners is just great.
That's
I have
wonderful to
nothing,
hear.
there's absolutely nothing I could say bad about Drive. Absolutely nothing.
Well, thank you.
Yes,
We really
thank you
appreciate
very
that.
much. And you know, Carolyn, our marketing director, was pointing out you're doing 1.3 in 3 bays.
Yes, I have
Wow.
I have a 1996 square foot 3-bay shop that was built in the 40s.
There you go. So don't
And
tell me it
yes,
can't be done.
It can be done.
That's
Can be
right.
done.
tell
All
me I
right.
can't do it, and I'll show you that I can.
So do we have any announcements, Bob? Because we are coming up
Well,
on it.
this is our last show of the year.
There it
We'll
is.
see you all in the new year. I want to wish everybody a very happy holiday, safe and healthy, and get together with family and friends. And eat too much and have a great time. And I want to thank everybody for supporting our Drive Facebook Live over this past year, and
Mhm.
appreciate it very much, your attendance and your input. And we'll see you all on the other side. So
Yep.
Chris and Danielle, thank you so much for joining us. Tony,
Absolutely.
I'll see you at the new year.
There it is. Yep. Thanks, guys. We're out.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Be on face.